Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Break our 7 seals. Fear. 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 There has been a state of fear, paralyzing fear, for nearly 500 years. Doing them as they've done to you. Double. We're going to push that fear back onto them. Fear, unrelenting fear. As Elijah Muhammad taught you experience fear in the womb. Because what they would do, or they would just start your journey, repression in the womb. Because the mother's emotions affects the child as she's birthing. And they put in such a great fear, the child would be in fear, born in fear. And then they would take, they said, and I'm not paraphrasing a little bit, but the general idea is true, correct. Say that they would do this to other women. They would take a baby. If she had no womb, they'd cut her womb open. The baby's still in there, right? Snatch the baby out and crush his brains with their foot. This is documented. It's not conspiracy theory or something made up. It's how wicked. And you say these people, the Bible has a statement, can a tiger change the stripes? No, they haven't changed. If they got in that situation, they would do it again. That's why these people run into my, I'm a fish bump and all that kind of stuff. They got something coming. How can you dismiss what they did to us? That means you don't value your ancestors, what they did. But a lot of it's just out of fear. They acting like they're out of fear. Oh man, let me be nice to these white folks, man, because they could do this to us, do that to us. They tell their children that too. Be careful, man. Especially like 700 years ago, right? After so-called Civil War. Be careful. Don't do this. You see a white woman walking down the street, especially in the South, right? But it's in the North too. Don't get it twisted. Turn your eyes away. Say yes, ma'am. They say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yeah. So they told you how to act. They told you that your family parents put you in fear. I said, be careful. You got to do this. I mean, it was legitimate. But you don't tell people going in, you see a tiger right there, go and jump on that tiger. Fear. Unrelenting fear for hundreds of years. And now people still reacting to this fear now. Some people still in state of shock. Still in fear. If you're in state of shock, then you lost. Because shock, you go into shock when it's all gone. That's at the point where the lion's got your ass, he's eating you. And you see there's nothing you can do. You go into shock. A lot of people in shock. That's why they act, talk like they're talking. Right? Oh, Jesus, help me. No, you can't say anything. You can't talk to people. They will not hear you. You better say anything against Jesus. I remember I had a contract many years ago in Philadelphia, right? And I was staying there, I had an apartment there, right? Because the contract lasted about a year, I guess. I got me an apartment there, right? Because I used to travel around the country when I had my own business, right? So I had a contract up there, and and this woman, right? She was I was like on third floor. I think she was on the second floor, right? And I kept my car down in the garage, and I had got purchased, I rented the garage downstairs, right? So one day she pops up in the garage, and she's gonna drop the Christian thing on me. So I'm listening. I'm a listener, right? I really listen to talk. I'm listening. I let her run it out, run it down. To ask her a couple of questions. I said, well, I said, can God see everything? Yeah, he can see everything. He can see everything. He knows everything. I said, can he see the future? Yeah, he can see the future. He knows what's going to happen before it happens, everything else. I said, would he make Adam? And she said, yeah. Then she started slowing down. I see she saw where I was going. I said, well, he knew Adam was going to mess up, so why did he make somebody mess up and then condemn to hell? She got the hell out of the eye, and she never talked to me no more about that. See, you can stir people just with questions. Because she picked up where I was going, right? And you can't say those people. And that's why it's Exodus says they traveled in the wilderness 40 years, and that was to get rid of those folks. Read Exodus. Because they knew they could not take them to the promised land, because they was gone. They was in shock. You could not take those people home because their fear had went into shock. And if you got them there, they would secretly be calling on Jesus. They're in shock. Their fears shock got them in shock. And we're going to pay these folks for doing what they did. Because a lot of people, that's what it says in Exodus. How many, half the people? How many are people in that state? And these preachers are responsible for a lot of that. They're preaching that crap. That's why Elijah Muhammad said he wouldn't care if he wouldn't be in their shoes. The shoes made of gold and silver and diamonds. He's right. Because I said this years ago, I says, when this war break, and I'm going to talk about this war for years. I'm going to talk about it a little more today. I said, when this war breaks out, and this thing turns around, these preachers will be turning to popsicles. You're going to see preachers on every damn corner. Gaddafi on a stick. Yeah, the only people going to get them. That's just the preachers. I ain't getting into Mr. Son of Man out there and Ben X and all those folks. Oh, I could tell you, but I'm not doing. What's going to happen to those folks is unimaginable. Right? Death will be easy. They won't get that. See? Because, they understand what's going on here. Look what Elijah gave his life, years in jail, family issue, everything, and says Son of Man will suffer more than him. And look what they did. After all that work that Elijah did, and they turned on him in a dime and cursed the man. They don't just turn on him, they actually spoke against him. But day before, all praise be alive, and I believe Muhammad, all praise be alive, like they do this. And they said the Son of Man's sacrifice be greater than his. That's why I call him the Lamb. Says they used to call Elijah the Lamb. He never called himself the Lamb. Like I said, the eternal leader of the nation of Islam. They would say anything like that. That's bullshit they make up. That means he's a God, then wouldn't it? If he's eternal leader. But sacrifice, and whew, I wouldn't want to go through this again. And they say, oh man, people live 1,000 years. Hey man, you couldn't live 1,000 years in this body. I'm 76 years old. I can't imagine living this body another 20 years. And this, it's becoming more of a prison every day. You're talking about 1,000 years in this thing? I can't imagine what I'd be like 1,000 years in this body. If this body is not renewed or something's happened to it, right? Who would be in this death trap? In this world. This body, you can't, I don't care if you're eating one meal every 20 days. And I'm doing all those things, it's still, I'm healthy, but damn. It's a lot of work to do it. I like this, that more vision I had when I was a child. I'm tired. I'm tired as hell. I am really worn out, but I got to keep going. I'm saying it not to complain. But I'm trying to give you an idea of what it's all about. Because those clowns out there pretending that they got this, they're going to suffer immensely. I tell you, if you try to pretend you're something that you're not, there's a consequence for that. And they haven't paid the price. And I paid the price, and I'm paying. And this is not easy stuff. It's so easy. How come you can't do it? How come the LLC can't do it? 2,000 years and they've been able to do it. And like I said, those videos told me I'd be totally worn out when time came in. Ooh, right? Yeah. But I can keep going. And I don't tell everybody all this shit because I'm not trying to complain here. I'm just trying to tell you, this is not a game. I'm trying to communicate that this is not a game. And that's if I just get on here and say, oh man, I got me an internet site, and I'm going to go out and talk every day. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. If I could give some else, I would gladly do it. And I'm 76, man. I'm worn out. I am worn out. But I'm still going. And I'm only saying that. See, people say, "Oh, no, I'm not complaining. I'm trying to show you. That's what a 100% commitment looks like." See, because you want to know what some people don't understand what 100% means. Is that 100% means like 100% of dinner time, 100% of Wednesday. 100% means 100% total. Okay? It means work, effort. And that's the vision I had, like climb that mountain. Like it was got more kind of harder it came. Right? And then you got to deal with all the resistance. Then you got to deal with your own body resistance, just age. Right? And I'm saying, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. I'm saying, damn, I can't imagine other folks out eating 3 meals a day and eating pork and everything else. That no wonder they walk around with diabetes and then how could you live in a body like that? Got diabetes and high blood pressure now. They say I got high blood pressure now. They say I got everything now. I don't see any symptoms of it. But I got, oh, you got this, you got to check for cancer. It's all bullshit, right? Like they told me years ago when I was, man, you got to have that colon screening thing. I kept on bugging me all the time when he did it. Oh, you okay? See, you know. But the thing is that it ain't easy. Okay? And like I said, if this body doesn't change, I got to get rid of it. Because I don't want to be sucking this thing another 10, 20 years. Because it takes, right now it's been like almost 5 hours in the gym every day just to keep my body going healthy. Why would I got to spend 24 hours in the gym now? Before I could, like 2 hours a day, I was cool. There's 5 hours, at least 5 hours a day. And that's not 6 hours a day. Sometimes I go twice a day. Then the fasting, doing some more fasting I've ever done before, right? And you know, got to maintain you careful with your diet and everything else, and you know, and all the things you have to make. You know, and my wife keeps saying, "Boy, today, you know." But anyway, because she keeps telling me, "Well, so why don't you slow down?" I said, "How can I do that?" I said, "This whole nation depends upon me," and that's the truth. They depend on this vision, because if this vision is not right, then we're dead as a nation. We have no vision. And we're going to stay here. And you see what's happening in America? So in other words, we tied our wagon to America, and America is messy black. For our military, America's going to burn down. You can see it. Everybody's worried. And we tied our wagon to this place, and we don't have no place to go. It means then we got to fight for it. We got to stamp everything because we had nothing else to do. That's what they want you to think. We have an escape. That means we went through hard costs for nothing. If we ain't going anywhere, we stay here. And I ain't talking about my sacrifice. My sacrifice we've been doing stuff 30-some years for nothing. And forget about that. I'm just talking about the nations. That's my personal sacrifice. Right? It gets information out. Because they're going to need it in a minute. If I wouldn't put this information, otherwise, somebody said, well, if you say they ain't going to come around until then, then why don't you go ahead and wait until then? Is that how it works? Is that how it works? That's how business works? It works that way? Information has to be out there. I got to now or that. But I'm putting a new mind into the world. You know, ocean is still. It's not moving. You don't see any waves or anything. Then you throw a brick in it, all of a sudden you got ripples. That's going to affect the rest of the ocean. You may not notice it, but the formula is 1 over r squared. That means 1,000 miles away, you're going to still have it'll be a really undetectable vibration, but there will be a vibration there. That's how submarines are able to detect submarines far away, 1,000 miles away. Because those vibrations, they may get weaker and weaker and weaker, or you got to have something very sensitive enough to pick up any vibration at all, because there'll be a vibration there. See? They say whales make their mating call or something, and I haven't checked this out, but that's what they say. I haven't checked it out thoroughly. I mean, I've seen it posted. They say a male whale, they make a mating call, and the female on the other side of the planet hears it. So maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. I mean, it sounds fantastic, but that's been said, right? I mean, I read an article saying that kind of stuff, right? Anyway, fear. We've been under intense fear, and now people operating. I tried to explain it yesterday. People operating under great fear. I've been operating under great fear all my life. I didn't realize it. I didn't know that was my motivation was fear. I didn't realize it. I mean, I was motivated by, because I was saying, well, why am I doing this? I mean, I asked myself that. And I says, I'm an orphan. I don't have anybody. I didn't know what to do, right? But that one thing that had motivated, like I said, when I analyzed it, I said, damn, it was a fear of dying and going to hell that was motivating me. I said, damn, I don't want that. I gotta die one day. And it just quick clopped up on me one day. Oh man, I was about to go to jail. I'm at the gym. Man, you at the gym, you trying to do your thing, right? This clown walks up on me, oh devil. Hey man, are you saved? What you talking about you saved? He said, you could die any second now, man. Then you end up in hell. Oh, boo. He caught me. Whew. He glad I caught myself. Because he snuck up on me like that there, man. I had a chance. Boy, I almost had a chance, and I think, because my response would have been tapping my foot, been so far up his ass. Ooh, he snuck up on me. But I said, I caught myself fast enough. I said, man, I got away from that clown. I said, man, see, that's the kind of shit they do. Put that fear in you. You could die any second now, man. You end up in hell. They use fear. That's what Christianity is all about. Fear, fear, fear. But see, the point, the sealed Bible, you understand the sealed Bible. That's in the sealed Bible. No, not going to hell like, there's no in sealed Bible, and Jehovah's Witness about that part, right? Nothing about going to hell and burn forever, never, never. But there's a talk about hell. And it basically says just destroy you, right? But it depends on understanding the body and the soul. I explained that yesterday. But, it's destroyed. It's not an ever, never, never thing. So your soul is destroyed forever. It means if you destroy your DNA, it's destroyed forever. It's not that you burn up forever. That's the proper interpretation. But that's what they do. And they say, oh, you going? And so it was that they try to restrain the devil to some extent, to give him a sort of sense of consequence. Because they have no sense of consequence. So it was in there, but it's also to put fear in us. You see? Because the sealed Bible is all against us. Keep us submission. Right? Because that's the only way we could take and, transformed. We had to endure that intense pressure. That's the only way we could transform. So I keep telling people, see, you got this crazy idea about how things work. They don't work that way. You got to understand how things work mathematically. Master Father Muhammad said, if you want to be successful in the mathematical language, you can't think all this emotional stuff, all the morality and all that bullshit. All that is bullshit. It's mathematics, period. Part of the reason why it's false Israel's over there doing what they're doing, because if you read in there, it tells that's what we're going to supposed to do to them. Get rid of their children, Amalek. Get rid of them, everything. Said God told them to wipe all of them out, the children, the babies, the dogs, cats, all of it. Have no mercy on them. That's what it says in there. It tells you. So they pretend to be us, right? So they think they're doing what that says. But she said, what the hell, man? You saying they bad, and then you're going to do the same thing? See, there you go. They got you mentally. Because that's what Farrakhan's saying. We can't do them as he did to us, man. There you go again. You can't get around that. That's how all these little things that keep it's all there. Lock your mind down. So you always, and remember, the purpose of it is to keep you under control. So in other words, they keep them around, keep them your boss. You can't, man, you can't do them. They did to you. We can't take revenge, man. Love conquers hate. All these are vectors, mental vectors. See? And some are designed to affect you socially, emotionally. Oh man, you can't kill little babies. You can't kill little babies. And they grow up to be big babies. And they kick your ass. They may have women nurse their little children. Nurse them. Breast and everything. And the child grows up and kick her ass. Call her a nigger. What's wrong with these? And we, ooh. And we supposed to, forgive them and everything, man. And they depend on that. Because when you tell, isn't that, if you was in charge, when you tell them that, when you do that, say, hey man, don't, give us, man, don't retaliate. Obviously that's what you do. And so somebody told me, like, oh, looks, that's a monster, man. He's talking about killing women with children. And he's talking about, man, doing them evil they done to him. And, he's a monster. Forget about the monsters that, there's no sense of consequence there, right? Because it says you reap, then God says you reap what you sow. That means if you sow evil, you're going to get evil. So who's going to do the evil then? Because we're so good people. God's so good, he loving everybody. So who's going to do the evil then? Who's going to do the evil, return the evil that they did? Who's going to do it? You don't know. See, that's why you need to end your mind, and you need what Master Muhammad's getting ready to do to snatch it. Because otherwise your mind's, a lot of you in shock, like I said. You're not going to make it. If you're in shock, you forget it. Right? You're like clay that's already hardened. Nothing you can do with it. We got to use the new clay that's still malleable. See? Because everything he says, that sounds wicked, evil. Oh man, that guy's a terrorist. He's evil and wicked. He gonna wipe them out, kill the children, everything else. And that's exactly what the Bible says. And that's exactly what those false Jews think they're doing over there. They think they got the Bible. They can go back to the Bible and say, Amalek. It says, kill. It says it right in there. What they doing over there in Palestine, that's what the Bible says. It's right in the Bible. But it ain't them. That's what's going to be done to them. That's what I mean by they writing on obituary. Let me see if I can break this down for you, brothers. See, because am I dealing with children here? Okay. Here's it. It says, doing them is done to you, right? Okay, and it says, kill all the women, children, babies, everything. Well, who are they talking to? Who are they talking to? They're talking to people that started or the people that's responded, that's doing them as they done back to them. Who are they talking to there? You know what I'm saying? See, because if God says doing them as God telling you, doing them as done to you, and he says they're evil people. So that means now you evil because you return God. I thought you was doing God's will. He says doing them as they done. That's God's command. So that means now you wicked. Because you're doing what God told you to do. I said you say you're Muslim. You total submission of God's will, and that's what God's will is. So the point is, but why are you doing it? You're doing it because that's the consequence of what people did to you. That's who he's talking to. He's talking to people that suffered it, and now you're doing back to them. He ain't talking to people that's doing it. See, they're the ones that are doing it. And so that's what's going to happen. That's why I say they write on obituary, because what they talk about they doing, that's what happened back to them, because that's what God's telling us to do to them. And they had done to us. And so if somebody steals from you and you steal back from them, that's going to make you a thief. So he's stealing. No way, you stole back what you took. He's not making you a thief. He's just. But see, you got things all messed up. Your mind's got your mess all messed up. You see? Because if they've been killing you and killing your children and everything else, and you do the same thing like God says to do, then you're not wicked, you're not a murderer, you're not a killer. What you're doing, okay, if a person, I think I mentioned this yesterday, maybe I didn't, maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. Somebody kills somebody. You go to court and the judge sends the person to death. Is he a murderer? Is the judge a murderer? He's killing somebody. He's killing this person. Who's executioner? Is he a murderer? You see what I'm saying? So your mind's all messed up. No. They're repaying the person for what that person did. They're not murderers. The person that did it, they're reacting. That's lawful. Any action, that's the nature of every option you react. So if you're a reaction to something that happened, you're just. You're not a murderer. You're not a thief. You're not a robber. If you're reacting to what was done to an action. See? But they try to play, oh, no, you're a murderer, you're a thief. No, what we do to them is a reaction to what they did to us. That's it, do doubles them as they've done to you. Don't say it's due to them, it says, as they have done to you. That makes you just. Now, you can be merciful, but merciful, you understand what mercy is. Mercy doesn't mean it absolves you. If I give mercy, okay, we're not going to kill you, we're not going to send you to death for what you did. We're going to give mercy. You're still going to pay the consequence. Only difference is you got time to pay it off other than being murdered, being killed. So in other words, you went and you stole $10,000. I said, okay, I'm not gonna put you in jail. You still got $10,000 worth of negative energy on your ass. So that gives you time to go back and get work and pay that $10,000 back. If you don't pay it back, you still got a negative energy. Just this person just didn't correct it right there. They didn't apply justice to you. They applied mercy to you, but justice still will be applied. Just they didn't do it. Like if we don't do to them as they done to us, they still will suffer. Just as the quality of suffering just be different. It won't come from us, it comes from somebody other way. They'll starve to death, anything, disease, whatever. You need to understand those things, bro. So let me move on. I got a lot to talk about now. I'm not going to do it there again. Hey, that's fear. Fear is driving our people. Our people state of fear. And you got people like Farrakhan. What is he telling you? You're wicked, you're evil. He's threatening you. If you don't repent, God's going to do all this stuff to you. He's an agent of fear. He's putting more fear. He's adding the fear on. He's like Muhammad's removing the fear. No, you righteous people are setting the lessons too. I'm telling you, going home. You got to upload the angel, get home, get yourself together, and be prepared to go home. But he's putting fear in you. You're evil, you're wicked. Oh God, pray to Allah, He'll have the worms eat your ass. God damn that son of a bitch. You know something? I don't care. I'm going to use the language. He is a son of a bitch. Man, I'm so sick of that. Ooh. You don't have any idea what's about to happen to him. Whew. See, because I understand what he's been doing. See, it says, who consumes the spirit of his mouth. Because that's what he is. He's adding fear to our people. See, God's going to get you. Because you're full of, you're wicked, you're evil. And hope God, worms eat your ass. He pray aloud, God, that He worms eat you. You see, he's and our peers already under us. Our people already in shock over fear now. Our people overwhelmed with fear. And he that ass out there with that, and he getting away with it. He's not really getting away with it, he think he is. My wife said, man, well, you getting in trouble these days. Boy, you saying stuff. I said, man, I'm telling you, I'm getting wound up. It ain't no more lamb, it's lion. And because you understand, it says dead wrath has come. So if dead wrath has come, that means it was building up. And if you listen to what I'm saying and you take my voice, you can see it's building. It's building fast. So what's going to happen when it's released? Okay. all this fear they put, especially our women. Our women experience fear more than we do. And we can't protect them from it. We can now. And that makes it even worse. That's why some of these people are going to be in such trouble. Because now we can protect them from it, but we ain't. We still cower out and feel, oh, man, they gone. And they can do anything they want to our women, and we sit there and look. Oh, baby, don't worry, I'll get you out of jail. He up there got your woman smacking up, beating her ass. Oh, no, no man, you got to kill me. You might as well just kill me right now, because you ain't going to be beating up my woman. You might shoot you. I remember, when I go out and walk with my wife, right? And I'm allergic to dogs and stuff. People have a dog, and I don't want no dogs on me. And they bring their dog and think a dog dumb. I don't hear that crap. She used to carry me a shoehorn, a long shoehorn like that, right? So I could just the dog's way of getting come over, right? So I tell you what happens, right? This is what happened. I was in Florida at the time, right? And a cop pull up on me. Whoop. Right? Jumped out. Hey, man, what's that you got in your hand? See, because some devil said, see, niggas walking around with a sword. Because it looked like a sword. That's what happened. Right? And I was supposed to get upset and a coward. I said, I got a shoe on. You got a problem with that? Oh. See, because first of all, you understand, you can't be a stupid. But the point is, you sit behind here, because you invite, you're saying, oh, kick my ass, and I ain't going to do nothing. See, I remember I got this so-called son-in-law, he's doomed. Because he lied. He told me he was Muslim. He wasn't a Muslim. Got my daughter. And now he's back in Christianity. And when I catch up his ass, right? But the problem is, when they had that last fiasco, Million Man thing they had, a few years back, we went to that. There wasn't no million people up there. Not even close. So we're on the way back. And I should scoped him then, right? We're on the way back, and we had stopped by a store, right? It was dark. And so a cop pulled up. And this dude runs up to the cop and starts telling him all this stuff. I said, what the? When he got back to the car, what the hell are you doing? Oh, man, he was scared. I knew, right? See, I said, why you tell him all this stuff and everything? I don't want to hear. See, some of us are paralyzed with fear, scared to death. When they arrested me when I was in Guam, right? Had my daughter with me, and I was like taking her out to the beach, right? And they pulled up on me, man, like 5, 6 cops. Pull the guns out and everything else. Okay. And so I didn't get down nowhere. I'm not get on the ground. I didn't get down nowhere. I'm gonna get on the ground. You better go ahead and start shooting. So they backed off on that one, right? They came over here and arrested me, right? That fear. But we about to. That's the engine's going to do. The engine's going to remove that fear from you, and we're going to put that fear back on them. Got people been in fear for over 500 years, nearly 500 years, and our women been in extreme fear, not only from them, but from you too. They're under double fear, and that's unconscionable. Why would we? Because we fear the devil, then we go and put that fear back on then we double fear on our sisters. That's why that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with these sisters, right? See? I'm giving them room. I know to pull it, they still got to come to the level unless they want to be subjected. But the point is, I'm covering them. But the point is, you put double fear. You put fear on you. You're afraid of devils, and then you go and put that fear back on the woman. You go beat her up and put a fear on her. She's doing this kind of stuff. And that stuff makes me angry. I don't do that. I kind of feel like, man, I should did to my children because they went off, but I just couldn't do it. My father put a lot of fear in me, right? So, and I'm grateful he did. But I wish he hadn't. I put it that away. Because that's 5 years, 14, between 9 and 14, boy, that was a hell of five hard years, boy. I was afraid of that man. Boo. Right? He put a lot of fear in me, but then point after I had very little fear. The only fear I had was that thing about the death. Going to hell. Other than that, I ain't had no fear of anything. See? But fear. And our women right now under constant fear. They fear the devil and they fear you. And why should they be in fear of you? We're going to eliminate that. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to show up. And we find out, I don't want to hear no excuses, nothing. You show up and your woman talking about she's afraid of you because you've been beating her ass and that kind of stuff. You might as well don't show up. You might as well not even show up. And my wife, you ask her anytime, but I beat up, no, don't. Like I said, I threw an empty plastic thing at her one time, a long time ago. I wish I hadn't done that. It couldn't hurt her, right? But I threw it. You know, I'm not gonna say you deserved it because you were doing some stupid stuff. But the point is, I shouldn't have did that anyway. I threw an empty, empty plastic bottle. Couldn't hurt a flea, right? But I threw it at her, right? And so I shouldn't have even done that. But that's about as violent I've ever been with her. Right? I say a few words every now and then, but that's a whole history too. So I'm not gonna be a hypocrite here. Now I was married to a demon, and then she's a big liar. She said, everybody, I had kids with her. He used to beat me up, and I said, "Where'd you get that shit from? I ain't never put my hands on you." Oh, see, that was a lie, and they believed it. And my son tell me, "Yeah, man, she told me." I said, "I saw with my own eyes. I think he was about 5 years old at the time, right? Yeah, man, I saw you put over a chair and you took clothes off and you was beating her with a stick." I said, "What you say?" "I saw it with my own eyes." I said, "You ain't so." See, because you tell children that, and I said, okay. So with me, you probably just don't remember because you was. That's what he came back at me. "You probably just don't remember because you're so old." I said, "Okay. Okay, whatever. That's something I don't do. I ain't even beat my girls when they grew up. I spanked them a few times, but right. But I'm telling you, if you show up, it's two things. Your parents show up and say you was totally disrespectful and just beating everything in them. You got a problem. I don't care if you're male or female. And if you show up, and the women tell them, "Yeah, you was beating on them and abusing them and all that kind of stuff," you might as well not show up. You might as well show up. And if you do that out of ignorance, you better apologize and get it straight real quick. Be convincing. But then again, if you're a liar, you got trouble. Let me say about liars. And then move on. You can forget about anything, but you can't forgive liars. That's the problem. Liars condemn themselves. Because a person go out and say a prostitute or a thief or whatever, right? See, you can forgive them if they're not liars. Because they say, "Man, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna do it no more." Right? So it's okay. You might forgive them because they say they ain't gonna do it no more. You know they're not a liar, so you could pretty much be convinced that yes, they're probably telling the truth. They still could be lying, but the point is, they don't have a history of lying. You don't know them to be liars, so you might go along with that. You might accept that. Because we're going to accept that from my people anyway, because more people doing all those things. Right? I've never been a thief, but the point is, if I got in a serious situation and my children was starving, yeah, I'd steal if I had to. I've never been in that situation. But a liar, he says, "Oh, I'm not going to." How you know? How you know he's not lying? See, they put themselves in a situation. How you know they're lying? "I ain't going to do it no more." How you know that's not a lie? Anyone trusts a liar is a fool. That's why it says all liars will be thrown in. You can't trust them. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. And so it said, and you can see the intensity of the fear because we're going to put that fear back on them. And it's going to start in earnest This war that's going to take place any day now. I mean, it's no, I've been talking about this. Anybody's been paying attention, I've been talking about this war for years. For years. 30 years is that. Anybody's been paying attention for the last few years, and I've been talking about for constantly. Hold on, brothers and sisters. And now the war is here. This phase one has already started. That was abomination of desolation. Phase two is any day now. And people are getting nervous about it. But I know what the outcome is going to be. And they tell you if the outcome is the way I say it's going to be, because some people say, well, America's going to be this, America's going to lose that war. And they said that's going to be terrible for America. It's going to be economic collapse. All the things I've been saying. Anybody paying attention knows it's true. And no one was talking about this a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, especially 3 years ago. In fact, nobody was talking about it since the last couple of years anyway. Even when it ended up, when abomination desolation took, nobody called it. They're still not calling it, even though it's obvious. But it says, men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after in anticipation, those coming upon the earth, upon America and Europe, and for the powers of heaven to be shaken. Whose power? Their power. See? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. And see that he's the man of fear. He even telling people he's going to alleviate their fear. I'm going to remove your pain, man. I'm an Advil. Just take me, man, and you won't have no pain anymore. See, I'm Mr. Advil. Ibuprofen. That's me. I'm Mr. Ibuprofen. Prozac. See, what's the other one they got? That powerful ones. What's that thing? I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, he's the one. But it's not going to work. You take it, damn, this damn didn't work, man. I thought you could relieve the pain, man. I still got pain. I got more pain than I had before. Because what he's doing is, nothing he's doing will work. It's all failing. I've said that. He's the one that caused the problem to have right now. He's the one that's causing the problem right in the Middle East right now. He's the one that's killed the JCPOA. I said everything he says will fail. Backfire. Counterfeit power. America has no power anymore. I explained to you, power as you fear is a loss of power. It's directly related to loss of power. The less power you have, the more fear you're going to have. If you lose all power, then you're going into shock. That's the last stage of fear when you just comatose, just gave it all up. That's the line. That's the zebra laying there, alive but been eaten. He's laying there, king, done this. He's alive but he's been eaten. Lying, eating on his ass. See, America's living off of counterfeit power, threatening people. They're hoping the threats will work, but nobody's buying them anymore. See, at first, it kind of worked, right? But then after Vietnam, after Afghanistan, everything else, it's kind of like, and now they got little Houthis kicking their ass. The little mouse got the lion squeaking, and the lion is back in the corner, can't do anything about it. That's a bad sign for America. And now they say Yemen is the poorest country on the planet. That's what they say. And they got a small population. And they in sand. They live in sand. They got nothing. And America, so powerful country, they bombing them 24/7 with heavy bombers and everything else. And they still fighting. And that's driving America crazy. Because look how powerful we are. But we can't beat a mouse. We can't beat that mouse. And you got bears and tigers stuff out there roaring, and they see, damn, you can't beat that mouse. Maybe it's time for us to move. Remember the so-called mother of all bombs, Moab? They dropped on Afghanistan. Now Afghanistan, they got this big country, but they firm too, and they sheep herders. They didn't have as much as Yemen has. They didn't have the missiles and all that stuff. They were just had some guns, and they had their faith, right? And they were sheep herders, and they couldn't fight all year round because they had to tend the sheep too. So America, the big old power, drop. It's virtually a nuclear bomb. Why don't you say what it is? It's virtually a nuclear bomb. They dropped it. And Afghanistan still kept on fighting. Who controls Afghanistan now? How did America leave? Their pants on fire. They was running out of there. They left everything behind. And now they go up against Iran? Well, we know how it's going to end. At least I know how it's going to end. And it's any day now. And when it ends, all the cards, like you have all those cards, they have all the cards set up, and then you kick one, all zip. This is what's going to happen. All four right in place. Farrakhan goes right behind it, all these things. Our paper names come, all this stuff happens. And that's where we are right now in a minute. I would destroy the wisdom of the wise. Let me look at this from another perspective, brothers and sisters. This world, this is the mathematics of this world. You got the internet, cell phones, all that kind of stuff, right? A lot of people, man, they understand that, like work with that, See? Because, before they had that, they had horse and buggies and train, all that kind of stuff, right? And people were satisfied with that, was happy with that. Then you come up with something new. Well, that means they had to adjust and learn new things. Learn how to use a telephone, telegraph. Maybe TV came in, radio. See? But some people won't like the old way. Man, that's wrong with horse and buggy. Man, they had businesses, made horse and buggy. Oh, the business went out. You remember what's that business they used to have? They used to do what they call those things? VCR, not VCR, VCR. Those tapes. Gotta recall those tapes, right? Where you go and rent the tapes from that? What was that? What name that? That story. They all go on there, ain't they? Remember you used to rent the tapes? Things change, but people are comfortable with that way. They're happy with that way. They adjust it to and everything else. When people are comfortable with this, that's why I said that's the behind this world's life. Those love this world's life. That means the world, the trappings of it, the idea of it, everything, and they're comfortable with this. Now you talking about the next one. That means now you got to upgrade. See? Now I got to start exercising. I mean, before, man, the job only required me. I only had to lift 20 pounds, man. But now a new job coming, you got to lift 50 pounds. Oh, man, now I got to go back to gym start. Man, I don't want to do that, man. What's wrong with this 20 pounds, man? I'll handle this. And now I got to do some extra work to upgrade. Because now I got to lift 50 pounds every day. That's how everything else, man, that's too much. I think I'm retired, man. You see, same thing. You don't upgrade to the angel. But that's the gym you got to go. Middle gym you got to go through, because that tells you how complex the new world is going to be. It's going to be more complicated than this. This is more complicated than it was 50 years ago. And 50 years ago, more complicated than it was before that. Can you see? But you don't want. Oh man. And some of you are struggling with this. If you're struggling with this here, you forget about the angel. And it's no cruel around. If you want to sit around here and you want to keep horse and buggy, you seen any horse and buggies lately? Now, if you go in New York, right, they have it in the park, Central Park. You'd have, I don't know if they still have it, but it's a tourism thing. But you see a horse and buggy anywhere? You see what I'm saying? And now I can't get that point across to you. That's why it says the believers. Remember, how do you determine a believer from disbeliever? Because you get a scripture, And the believers say, okay, they go in and understand Scripture, accept it. If they see what happened with, same thing happened with Prophet Muhammad. That's why he got Sunnis and Shia. Because that was the Quran was the next level, and they didn't, instead of rising up to that level, right? I'm with the messenger, I'm with the prophet. See, like some people try to do me, I'm with the prophet. No, you gotta, that's the level you gotta rise up to. That's the mental level you gotta rise to, what the Quran's saying here. Not just you reflecting, you repeating, or the Quran says the Quran. No, you gotta go in and understand, read, understand, figure out what they're saying. And they was never able to do that. Some got to some level, but they never got to the full level of the Quran. You understand? They level pretty much the same. They got in the Quran, but it was still less than the level of sealed Bible. That's why sealed Bible kicked their ass. But if they took and went and studied the Quran and upgraded to what the Quran is saying, sealed Bible would never had a chance against them. Like I said, the jinn and all this stuff, they don't know how that stuff means. They didn't go in here, oh, I'm with the prophet. I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to do Ramadan. You see? That's people try to do me. Repeat what I'm saying. That's not doing you any good. You got to go in and figure it out. Upgrade. And they didn't do that. And so now you got the Sunnis, and they worse of it. Now the Shia, they wouldn't try to. They try to upgrade. They got a better interpretation of the Quran than the Shia does, than the Sunni does, because they upgraded, not totally, but upgraded more. That's why. Look, you see them. You see them act like the Sunnis acting. They say they don't want to do. See, the Sunnis, they didn't want to upgrade. They want to stay like it is. That's why 1,500 years. They still back 1,500 years. What the Shia upgraded? You see the Shia, they modernized and they technical. Right? They're one of the most technical people on the planet. They're making missiles and and all kinds of manufacturing, their own stuff. And as soon as they build that damn thing, they have people come and do it for them. You see what I'm saying? So they want to bring you back there. And the Shia, they move it up. They got mathematics, superior mathematics and everything else, because they upgraded. See? And so those are the ones that match for. I'm just going to take it up, pull it right into the next hereafter. And soon it's going to be on the bottom level. It's a good reason why they're on the bottom level in the ark. See? You understand? So, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Yeah? That's the deal. So otherwise, you want to be in hereafter? Everlasting shame and appallment in the zoo? You think that's a joke? It's not. It's not. You take a person that's, they call it, what they call it, they don't call them retarded anymore, right? They call them mentally challenged or whatever. Well, I mean, you could take them and put them out among the gorillas, and they probably, if the gorillas don't attack them, they probably could live there, live comfortably on that level. See what I'm saying? That's where you want to be? No, you've been told. Not a warning, just telling you. But Mr. Boy, they're gonna put, when they do to him, when this war breaks out, he's one of the first ones they're gonna attack, him and all those people with him. Because when they said fear, remember, they said fear coming, and there's nothing, that's just the fear and anticipation. And they're going to blame him for it. Because they see that the fear cannot be alleviated. And it's going to get worse and worse, they're going to blame him. Well, you don't want to broke the seat, JCPOA, you want to attack Iran, you do all this, and now look, we got told, they're going to blame him. How do you think what's going to happen? You think that Secret Service is going to save his ass? They're going to be in trouble. They may be the ones that do it. They're going to Gaddafi him. He's riding high right now. But they say the light shines bright before it goes out. He said he's the greatest president ever. He's on all this stuff. He's going to be the most cursed. in a few more days. Because we know that war will happen. They say, are we going to try to work it out? We're going to bring peace. No, they're not doing anything. You have to understand the dynamics of what's going on. Universe is increasing. Energy is increasing. That means the fires, unless you turn that fire out underwater, it's going to boil eventually. And nobody's going to turn that fire out. To turn it out, you have to stop the universe from contracting. If you can do that, then you put the fire out. Otherwise, it's going to boil. And no matter what they do, they cannot stop it. Nothing they can do to stop it. It doesn't backfire. And the Bible tells you, be careful. It says, fear not that was killed or by. See, but the Christian tell, well, this is the invisible soul you got. But if you destroy the soul, then what's hell going to do to you? If it's destroy it. I mean, you got to read this thing. Your soul is your DNA. That's your soul. It's you. Your DNA lives on after you're dead. If you got survivors, that's what the Quran said. Think not those who are fighting, slain, the way of Allah is dead. They're alive, but you perceive not, because their DNA is still active. And their parents or whatever. Take for a bird, turn it. That's where you got to connect things together. And so if you go out here and you front a foul of the Son of Man, he says, all those that offend him, he's not going to destroy your body, get rid of you. We're going to get rid of your DNA, all of it, eradicate it. Cut you off totally. Because we're immortal. But who controls the keys? It says Melchizedek will control the keys. He's a priest forever. Remember, Elijah Muhammad said himself, Master Muhammad will only rule for the next 6,000 years. And then the king returned back to the boss again. And they control the keys to hell and heaven. And the keys to heaven, paradise, is coming back through the womb. Take for a bird, teach them to climb to you. In other words, no DNA, you can't come back. So you cut off. Totally. And that's about to happen. Right? Because those folks that's opposing this, going to crush them. Them and their DNA, I'll wipe them all out. Yeah. Okay, this is just by the way, brothers and sisters. I don't know if you can see this or why not. Let me see if I can expand and see what happens. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you see this flow here. Now, I don't know if some of you may have been paying attention about a few years back. I think about 20, I've been talking about this, but I think it was 2021, somewhere around here. I talked about that they was talking about that they had, they was wondering why those ships, UFOs, could go through the air so fast and not have a sonic boom. And plus how they can move so fast through the air. And they could do it through water too. They could fly through water as fast as they could fly through the air. They said, that's impossible. Because it's got more resistance. Right? I said, man, see, this shows the devils. See, I told you they're as smart as they think you are. Right? I said, that's simple solve that problem. See? That's not telling them how those things work. It's just telling them. It's a problem. It's simple. Right? See here at the bottom down here? Okay, when this thing is moving here, it creates resistance. See those arrows? That's resistance. That means it heats up the cone, the tip here, right? Heats up the tip here, and so it gets so hot, right? And that's the problem they have. Because first resistance, they got to fight resistance. That means it slows it down because of air resistance, and plus the heat because of air rubbing against the thing. So the cone has to be a certain material that doesn't burn up. Otherwise, the whole thing will collapse. So they got two problems here. This is slowing them down because they got the resistance of the air. The faster they move, the greater resistance is going to be. Well, it's three problems, actually. And plus, the resistance causes this to heat up. So therefore, they got special metals. And at some point, they can't find the metals high enough to handle. They can go so far. So they can maybe, sonic means like they're going to speed up. Mach 1 is speed of sound. Mach 2 is twice speed of sound. That's what Mach means. Mach 1 means speed of sound. Mach 2 means twice speed of sound. Mach 3, so you're going 5 times, so you got how fast you're going. So it says it's going Mach 4. So they got a limit because it depends on how strong the metal they can make here, how resistant the metal they can make here. Otherwise, because they go fast enough, then this would burn up and the whole rocket would burn up, the whole missile would burn up, right? But then you got a third problem. One problem is the resistance itself. Other problem is the heat that it generates on this cone here, on its tip. That's why they have a pointed tip, because they try to minimize, right? And then the third problem is that it's doing here, then remember it's pushing this air out here. So if the faster it goes, if it goes faster, because the speed of sound is how fast the air reacts. So if it goes faster than the air reacts, that means the air doesn't, you leave a vacuum here, the faster you go, the bigger the vacuum is, because air hasn't time to react yet, right? And the bigger it is, so the plane is maybe a half a mile away for the air finally to get back together because you move so fast. And that's what sonic booms, clap, boom. That's what's happening, because you create that vacuum because you move so fast, it has time to react, right? So by the time it reacts, you're gone. And then and the bigger the boom, the bigger the vacuum, the bigger the boom, boom. So you got those three problems. You got the problem of air resistance, you got the heat on there, and then you got the sonic boom. And they said those things that those planes, UFOs don't do any of that. Plus they go through water without that. I said it's a simple problem. See, instead of pushing air out of the way like this does, suck the air in, right? You put a pump in here, put a vacuum here and a pump here. This pump pulls all the air out of here, which creates a vacuum which sucks the air in. Instead of pushing it out, you suck it in. So therefore, there's no air resistance because you're sucking it in. In fact, it's helping you because you're sucking it in. It's causing you pulling forward. So you're sucking air in instead of that. On top of that, right? Then you suck it in, then you push it out. So now you don't create a vacuum here. So there you solve the problem. You can move as fast as you want with no air resistance. You don't have to have a pointed cone either, because you have no air resistance. You have a flat cone here, right? See? And you suck the air in, and then you push it out so you don't have a sonic boom. Simple. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I said, and I got the videos, but I remember it was on my YouTube channel. They shut down, right? But I still got backups. But it doesn't have this timestamp that I have, right? But those of you, man, pay attention back there. I mentioned this, and before that, you heard nothing about any. Check it out. The first time I heard about hypersonic missiles was after 2023, years after I mentioned this. I said when I said, watch what happens. Now I'm enough to use exactly this technology, but all of a sudden, super hypersonic missiles, which means they can move super fast, because this thing can move as fast as you want it to move. Super fast, and they can't stop it. Check it out. You have to take my word for it. Those of you that know about it, I said this, that's just how it works. And now I said, watch what happens now. And all of a sudden now, hypersonic missiles. You think they're not paying attention to this, brothers and sisters? They are. Okay, let's talk about this, and then before I get to my main point, if I can get to it. Agricultural age. Now, the Europeans, Yakub, they was creating the agricultural age. Agricultural age is energy deprivation age. Okay. Agricultural age is energy deprivation age, because it's like the earth is not producing. You got to stop famines, you have deserts, and all those things, right? Because earth doesn't have that much energy anymore. So we suffer energy deprivation, but earth is also suffering energy deprivation because it's not energy. We get energy from the earth, and earth is not producing that much anymore, because all the energy is out there. So therefore, you got to go in and start forcing the earth. You got to take a plow and firm, you got all this stuff to force the earth to produce, because we have to live off the earth. So we got to force the earth to produce. That's our culture age, okay? So you have famines, you have deserts, That's where it started. Because, Saudi Arabia was not a desert. That you can prove it easily. That's why I got oil in there. I'm not going to that, brothers and sisters. I talk about it enough. So the energy deprivation is agricultural age. So they got to farm and stuff, right? That means hard. So the Europeans, right? They took and oppressed their own people. They called plebes, and they called plebs and serfs and all that kind of stuff, right? And the royalty, they would make them farm and all that stuff. Right? And there was never enough food because it's hard to get the earth to produce. Okay? So when they found America, right? I'm jumping the gun here, brothers and sisters, right? Okay, they need somebody to take and farm land and stuff, so they tried their own people first. They call it indentured servants. They weren't that good at it. Because, see, they try to tell you they're superior. Remember, I mean, if they're so strong, well, how come black folks defeat them in sports? That's a physical thing, right? So that's physical labor, isn't it? You might say it's sports, but still physical labor, isn't it? Right? Just as much physical labor as going out there and picking that cotton. So the thing is, they tried, and they wasn't good at it. And they didn't work that hard. They were sick all the time and everything else. It was a problem. So they said, oh, we need people to do that. So then they tried the Native Americans, so-called Indians. And they wasn't that good at it either. Plus, they could run and hide, and they could run away because this is their country, right? But over in Africa, they saw the Africans, man, they're farming. They was good at it. They wasn't hungry. They was farming. They worked hard. There was tribes. They wasn't starving. They was working hard. They saw how hard the workers were. Such good workers they were over there. And they was taking care of themselves. And that didn't take too much to figure that one out. We could use them. That wasn't their primary motivation. That was their motivation, right? They put, well, in a way it was, because like I said, massive profit, minimum overhead. So those are good workers there. See? And so that's when the idea come to start kidnapping. Some was a revenge thing from Spain. I don't want to go too deeply into that, because that's where the term nigger came from, because Negro is a Spanish word for black. Hispanics are from Spain. I mean, they're descendants, basically, whatever. And so that's what I'm calling. It was called Moors. Moors is another black name for black. I understand in Spanish, because it was called Moors too, right? But they call them Negroes after they defeat the Moors in 1492. They start calling them the Negroes, the blacks, right? And it was English that took it to the next stage called niggers. But that's what they call them, the Negroes, the blacks. So they wanted revenge because they had been ruled by the Spanish for. And if you go over to Spain, you see some real Spanish people over there, they're dark skinned. They don't show you them on TV. They don't show you them. They had one on, I saw one on other YouTube, they was talking, and the guy was dark, he was Spanish. Anyway. Same thing in Mexico. Same thing in Hawaii. But they don't tell you those people. In Egypt, too. Even in Iraq. Let me move on. So that's the start, because they was good workers. And it put you in the field. And then you couldn't escape. It was perfect. You couldn't escape because you was over here. You didn't know anything about America. Plus, you couldn't blend in because you was black. So they knew that you was a slave because you was black. And that's how that got going. Right? Field slaves, agriculture age. So the industrial age came along. That was inspired by us, because now we was being energized, but they don't tell you that. They say they came from the industrial age. No, we inspired it. That's a whole other story altogether. We inspired it because now Earth is being energized, and we energized, and so we got more control of ourselves. See, because in our culture age, we had lost control of ourselves, right? So we in a state of fear. They took control of us and everything else, right? We took a lot of control. Look at us. We don't have our names out. They see we was look at all you got to do is look at this evidence right there. Your name, your culture, your religion, land, everything. That means he had total control of us. That means we're in total fear. They didn't keep us let have anything. So now we start being energized, right? Now come industrial age. So the problem here is that they had these plants. But again, the devils wasn't good at it. They weren't good industrial workers. And so Massa from the South would take his slaves that he didn't need in the field anymore. You see where I'm going? And take them and lend them out to industrial people to work in the factories. And they were good workers. And they had to pay them much. Plus they ain't taught back. And so they was taking the jobs. See? Let me back up on the slave thing. See, when they started putting them, then what happened was white folks said, hey man, what we gonna do, man? They didn't want to be out in the field picking cotton, all that kind of stuff. So someone was farming, that kind of stuff, right? They tried to get slaves themselves, but they couldn't afford them. Then they go in and say, and the master would hire them as taskmasters and stuff, right, to watch over you. See, and they still got it going on right now because you have supervisors in these plants and stuff like that. The devils who don't know how to do that job. They don't tell you that. So they say they're your supervisor. They're there because they don't know how to do these jobs. To make sure you do it. That's what they're there for. And they get paid more than you, and you think they know more than you. They don't know more than you. They get paid more than you, but they're there just to make sure you're doing your job. But you don't understand that. So let me get back. So you was best. So they took. So what happened was they were saying, man, we need those jobs, man. But they said, man, master wasn't going. The manager wasn't going to hire you because the devil said, man, these guys they work harder. They don't get on lip. They're good workers. They're there every day. They're healthy. And you sick all the time. You're complaining. You're talking back, and you don't work that hard, right? You want breaks all the time. You're not a good worker. And so they couldn't compete against these slaves. That's what Civil War was all about, right? To get them out of those industrial jobs, out of those, they call them plants back then, get them out of those plants. So the white folks can have those jobs. They started apprenticeships, unions, all that kind of stuff to make sure you was never in those jobs. That's what they did. That was stage one. That was Civil War was all about. Not about because they didn't want slaves anymore. They got tired of slaves. No. It was about that. But they want to tell you, oh, we thought it was a bad idea having slaves. No, because right after you didn't get no 40 acres and a mule. And when black folks left, supposed to be free, and started their little towns out there, out in the wilderness all by itself, you would go out and burn those towns down. Check it out. They say hundreds of towns that black folks started away from your ass, and they was successful work. They was good workers. They worked for themselves. They built their own towns, and you go and burn them down because you don't want people to see how good, how smart and everything they were. You burn them down, make them some sign charge to go in and burn the towns down. Yeah, that's what you did. See, so you were talking that bullshit, you can't fool me. So that's what Civil War was all about. So after that, right, they reduced you to being janitors, porters and trains, menial jobs. The main industrial jobs, they kept that for themselves. They reduced you to menial jobs, carrying water, whatever. Right? That's what happened. But then what happened is that as the industry picked up, right? What happened? Ooh, computer went out. I hate this system. Computer just went out. So they needed more and more people. So they have enough devils that could do that, and they wasn't that good at it anyway, right? So they had to start opening up. Right? And so they had to start giving you jobs because they had so many of them, and they have enough people to do them. So they had to start, so you had to get some of them. And one of the main places was in Detroit, the car industry. Because when the car industry came online, the industry blew up. I mean, it expanded. And you need more people. So then that's how you got in. And Detroit was like a black mecca. That's where Motown started and everything else. And you was pretty much controlled Detroit. And they said, oh, damn. Well, we can't have these niggas, they're going to get more powerful. And plus, the other thing is the Democrats, see, black folks, if when you put the Democratic and Republican Party together, forget about the racism and everything else, blacks are more conservative. They ain't for all that gay shit and all that stuff, right? And so they tended towards the Republican Party. See? And so Democrats, remember, all of them are bad. But Democrats, they was like they had this thing called Burr Rabbit. When I was a kid, you used to go drive in and have Burr Rabbit, right? And Burr Rabbit was like he was real smart. And he'd be attacked all the time by something, I forget. Right? By Elmer Fudd or somebody, I forget now. Or by a coyote or something. Right? He's always after Burr Rabbit. And Burr Rabbit always think him. So one day he finally caught Burr Rabbit, right? And Burr Rabbit starts, please don't throw me in that briar patch over there. Because the briar patch, you know, like thorns and stuff. Please don't throw me in that briar, begged him, please don't throw me in that briar patch. So Coyote said, man, this dude don't want to go in that briar patch, man. I really got his ass and he's afraid. Please don't put in that briar patch, please. And so he say, and Coyote said, oh yeah, he don't want to ask what I'm going to do. He threw me in that briar patch. And that's what the rabbit want, because that's where they live at, in the briar patches. And he left there, and then he was home, and the coyote couldn't get in after him because he had to go through his briar. And then he realized what he had done. The rabbit had tricked his ass again. And that's what Democrats, that's the whole idea behind Democrats, to trick your ass. Because if you look at their policies are all against you, every one of them. Abortion, three flag right laws, all that stuff, every policy guy is against you, but he pat you on the ass and rub your head, and you wag your tail, and he wagged my, it's like, you tell a dog, I'm gonna take you to the vet and put your ass down. We're gonna gas your ass. And the dog just wagging his tail, licking you, because he's stupid. He can't understand what the hell you're saying. You tell him you don't destroy him, he's just licking you, and that's the way they do our people. But anyway, that's what he did, put me on, so then they had to expand. And so black folks getting powerful, getting money, and it was tending towards a Republican Party, right? And so Democrats came and said, oh, when they got in power, let's we undermine them. And so I'm not going into all the details. But the bottom line is, they said, we got to take these industrial jobs from them. Because they become independent. We're going to lose control. We're losing control of them already. Remember the Civil War, they lost control. When the industrial lost control, because now they can have you in the fields, they have total control of you. Remember, they're losing control because you're growing. The Bible says they will break the chains because of fatness. The chains on us, they break because of fatness. Maybe I should show that quote. It means you're not being energized, so it's hard for them to keep you under control. That's what it's saying. So they start losing control because now our time, this is the time of Master Muhammad, right? 1860s. He was born in 1877, right? See, all this happens, it's not a coincidence. So now you've been energized. And so you've broken the chains. You inspired the industrial age. So now they lose control of you. So they have more fear. That's why they started the black laws, black code laws, and Jim Crow and all that kind of stuff. And KKK, that was all about fear. I try to get you to understand that. There's fear of you. So I said, okay, fear you being smart enough. They know you're smarter than them, more powerful than everything else. So I said, hey, man, if they industrialize, they're going to become independent. Right? Because you always burning all their towns. Remember they was burning all their towns down that they set up? This is fear, that you don't understand it. And that fear of you right now is the highest ever been. So that's why they send your jobs overseas. They don't want you to have us, they send them overseas, to China. But see, everything is backfiring on them now. Everything's backfiring. Every time, whatever they do is then backfiring. Because now China's become a powerhouse, a nuclear power, because all that you sent over there, trying to keep us under control. They send all the jobs over to China. I'm just getting a short version, right? Okay. So now, right? And so, and so many jobs they send China, And then you start moving up, right? Then you become employees, and right? Okay, let's move to the next way. Then industrial 2, right? Okay. So in other words, the first stage was, right, the Civil War. The next one was the menial jobs and everything they set to keep you from on the lower rung, and to keep from, to keep you out of industrial jobs. Then the second was right, when they couldn't do that, then they sent the jobs over to China. Send them over to China. Keep them getting them. I'm cutting corners here. And then come the AI age. Because remember, you was the best at the industrial. They said, well, they're better employees than me, than us. And manufacturers rather have them than us, so send them to China. So hey man, they still, no, you gave the jobs because you want black folks to have them. And same to AI. And it's a fact. They found that we're best at all these things. Every time black folks get their foot in the door, they don't just get through the door, they kick the goddamn door down. In sports, everything. But they don't want you to know that. Because if you're so bad, so ignorant, how come every time you get in those music, sports, whatever, you kill them? Because you're the best. But they're trying to do everything they can to keep you. It's like, I asked my wife, I said, I've said it before, I said, would you make a law that said dogs cannot read? What would the point of that? So why did they make laws we couldn't read? Because they know if America was controlled by women, they took control of America, right? The first thing they would do is pass laws that men could not go to the gym. Right? Because if men go to the gym, they become stronger than them. Your men cannot go to the gym. Keep them under control, because if they go to the gym, they're going to be, they can use their strength. And the same thing. They said, make law we couldn't read. Why? If we was dumb and stupid, then why did they make a law we couldn't read? What would be the point of it? Because we're better, but they don't want you to know that. So AI age, same thing. They found that we was the best at that, and so they said, we can't have them doing that. So what? Reagan killed the program. I went to the program myself and started bringing Indians over. They couldn't send jobs over there, so they brought them over to do it. Because they can't do it. See what I'm saying? They can't do it. And they didn't want us to do it, because we're better. So they give it to somebody, get China, India, whatever, anybody. Keep us out. This is what's going on. This is the real history. They don't want you to know. They're doing you a favor. Oh, we love you now. We want to stop slavery because it was bad. No, because they hate you now. They're doing everything they can to keep you from understanding what's going on. Right now, I ain't got to false Israel yet. You understand? So you have some background what's going on here, and you should be able to understand this. Let's move on. And look at this. This should tell you something right here. Now, back in the 50s, black folks, right? See the evolution? And you make a connection here. Now, back there, they had your mind, the vector so strong on you. Remember, they trying to keep control. You want to look like them. Got your hair concholine, right? What do you call them? What do you call that? A process. Big hair like them. See? That was a popular thing back then. He has hair straightened before he became black and proud. Then he got a fro, right? See? Because they want you. Remember, when you hate something, you want to change it. You want to change more like yourself, and they want to. So that's this. How? Who's? See, who's trying to be like them? Out of fear. That's not our hair. That's what was back. That was popular. I even got me a process for about 5 minutes one day. They talked me to that crap, man. I don't know why I did that. I went and got, hey man, everybody was doing it, right? Hey, man, you gonna get your process? And it kept I went and got it, man. I had about 2 or 3. I cut that stuff out of my head, man. This is stupid, right? It's like it's like cigarettes. I smoking cigarettes, man. And I said, well, y'all, and I smoked one cigarette. I said, what are you doing? Don't make no. I ain't getting anything out of it. Yeah, man, it's cool. I said, oh, that was the first and last cigarette I ever smoked. right? They ain't got to do it, that marijuana stuff, right? Because I was a practical person, right? So I'm saying this was, I'm saying, and then all of a sudden you graduate to this. Where'd this come from? Where'd this start happening? After they took the man out of the house and put the men under control of the females, I'm not saying anything wrong with the females, they going to do what they do the best. Now you're trying to be like your mama. Their hair was longer than women's hair. Even the Bible says, don't you think something wrong with your hair long like a woman? Even the Bible talks about that. Okay? This is Jay-Z, and go from this to this. You see how we evolved? How the vectors affect us? Because now you just, why would you want to look like this? You got more hair than a female got. You see? And that's cool. But this, well, if that's cool, how was this cool then? One of them can't be cool. If this was cool, how would this be cool? See what I'm saying? Something wrong. One of them wrong. Something wrong with one of them, but she was doing both. Something wrong with both of them. And then on top of that, if you're on TV and you're a black person on TV and a celebrity, 9% of those black folks on there got bald heads. So that, they don't want you to see your hair. Like that movie Black Panther, talking about black people, right? Only had one woman on there showed her hair. All other women had their hair covered. You see no naps. Just that one woman. Is that the way it is in Africa? All the women got their hair covered. It wasn't Muslim cover. It just had something on their head to cover so you can see no naps. You don't see what's going on, brothers and sisters? Now that's supposed to be cool for me, like a man, like a fool to me. I had one dude. I got me. I used to come to my. He want to give me. I didn't get no fist bump. What's wrong with you, bro? I said, wait, what you mean, bro? You don't identify with the brothers? I said, oh, you a brother? You look like a sister to me. Oh boy, we almost got into it. Ooh. We almost got into it. I knew, but he backed off. So yeah. Look at that. Where's this coming from? It's coming from them. Hollywood. This comes from Hollywood right here. And so did this. Who's controlling Hollywood? Who's controlling Hollywood? Let me say it again. Who's controlling Hollywood? Who controls celebrities? The same ones saying, "God stole your identity." When you gonna wake up? You're gonna wake up in a minute. I was looking like fools all over the damn world. Now you're talking about African wears blade. Now you got even Africans over here doing it now. They never wore no men wore no braids in the past. It's bullshit. Okay, let's move on. Well, maybe I get to my, okay, watch this. This is just showing, right? Let's go to the next second part. This is just showing the quality. There's a quality aspect of consequence. That's say, doing them as done to you. That means since we're the personification of what they did, then we have to do it to them. Otherwise, they're going to face consequence. But if we don't do it, it's going to come the other way. But the quality of it, so that's justice. Because they're going to face consequence for what they did. But we personify everything so you can see it clearly. And you can identify it. And that's what it's showing here. Let me show it again, then I'm going to close. Move on. Oop, nope. Then I'm going to show this. Oh, here you go. They hit us. Now we hit back. That's justice. Same thing. No matter what they hit us with, we're going to head back to, I would say, doing them as they had done to you the same way. That's what I'm trying to show here. Like one time it's an arrow, next time it's a triangle. It's just trying to show that the consequence is not only just consequence, but it's equal in character. Right? It's equal in character, see? That's what they doing them as they done to you, so it's to be the same, right? But then the point is they say, okay, how can they do that? Because are we going to do rape and like all the stuff that Solomon. No, we're not gonna do that stuff, right? But when the goat comes in, read chapter 17, that we inspired, they're gonna do it. And so here's another one here. See. Now I'm trying to get you to understand. See, you say consequence, that's general. I'm trying to get a math specific details. So the thing is that vectors. Now I'm trying to tell you how vectors. I'm thinking about stop even doing this all together because time's so close. But if I do, I want to talk in terms of vectors because vectors is the language of pressure, and that's what I really want to talk because that's what you really need. That's the level you need to come to, right? Because that's the underlying principle of all these scriptures. That's mathematical the universe. That's the mathematical. Because force, energy, force, that's the mathematical principle. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's force. Energy, action, force. And that gets down to, and vectors are the language of it. And I want to talk in that language, but I can't talk in language because you don't understand basic, and that's the language I really think on. So I'm giving you a little more hints on it. And it explains things. So in other words, vectors have direction and force, right? So if we get energized, we add more force to our vector. But what if our vector doesn't have direction? See, a car spin around. That means direction going, the action going, the arrow's going every direction. So it's spinning around. It's not going anywhere because. Right? It's spinning around. That means the vector's pointing every direction. You're not going. Black folks not going anywhere, because one person, instead of Hodge, everybody pointing the same direction, right? Everybody's going different directions. So we're going around a circle. I'm Buddhist. I'm going Hindu. I'm a Christian. So we're going around a circle, because we're pointing every direction. In fact, hold on a second, brothers and sisters. I should have did this, but maybe let's take a second. Let's take a second. Just give me a second here. Instead of talking about it, just show it. Let's take a second here. Okay. Well, a couple of seconds. See, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's what they say. I agree. So a couple more emphasis. Yeah. I do. I do. I want to do that. Don't make it too complicated. Okay, that's good enough. I think you get the picture. I think you get the picture. See here? See right here? Now, they go every direction, so they ain't going anywhere. They spin around. They spin around. Because everybody going a different direction. See, that's why I understand vectors. So long as they keep us going in different directions, we spin around, we're not going anywhere. It's going round and round circles. Oh, I lose my camera here. Yeah, look, I lost my camera here. No? I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, spin around, right? Because everybody going in different directions. That's where they want you. Okay? I'm this. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I'm Baptist. Right? I'm a Jew. I'm everything. Then Farrakhan said, yeah, man, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to be the Sunnis, right? But yeah, we would oblige you and Scientology, which is Catholicism 2.0, right? Anyway, he's part of it. But see here, but once you start in one direction, that's what Elijah Muhammad tried to get you going in one direction. Then, remember, their whole purpose is to keep you, your vision. This is the vision. This is the promise right here. So how do you do that? How do you, this is the vectors, vector language, how do you do that? Remember this, how you keep people going from moving, going anywhere. Have everybody going in different directions. They don't go nowhere. They think they're going somewhere, they spin around, but they ain't going anywhere. See, our nation spin around, but it's not going anywhere. Well, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, I'm a whatever, I'm Baptist. So we spin around, we're moving, but we ain't going anywhere. See, we got energy, but it's mismanaged energy because this is the devil's effect on us. The vectors they have on us make us all these different directions. We're not going anywhere. We got energy, got a lot of energy. We're not going anywhere. We spin around. You understand? But now all this energy is put in one direction, right? And that's there. So how do you stop that? Okay, they spin around no more, right? They don't spin around no more, right? So, but we got to stop them doing this. The devils don't want you to leave, and they don't want you to come here. These don't want you to come here, and these don't want you to leave because they getting rich off of you. They want to control you. And they don't want you to come here. So what happens? How do you stop it? Right? With vectors. You need a counter vector with the same opposite direction, same force. Now remember, we've been energized. So as we energize, our force is increasing. That means their force has to increase too to keep ours going from nowhere. That means you got to keep putting energy. So these and these have to invest in energy in this. These and these have to invest energy in this to keep this energy balanced to energy that we're getting, right? Because we've been more energized. So this has to be more energized too. So where they get the energy from? They got to get it from here and from here. See? This direction, this energy. You see, that's why I talk vector language. See, when you see, this is, I've been saying all the time, I'm showing you vectors. Because if it's like this here, it doesn't work. Hold on, let me show you something. Maybe I should, yeah, hold on. And when I've been talking about these, then it says, okay, I see I could do something else. I'm going to take a second here. Okay, say this. Uh-oh, nope. Oh, yeah, I should do it the other way. The other way. Okay. Where are we at here? Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so what I'm showing here is, see here? Okay, now I just showed you that, right? Counter. But the vector has to be that way. Otherwise, if the vector's like this, that means if it's going like this, that won't work. Because now you're still going this direction, but now you may not go in here, but you may be going to Africa. And they don't want you there either. See? So to stop you cold, right? Boom. But the problem is, they got to keep fueling this because you and being energized. Every 50 years, you get more energy. So they got to be more and more. That's why they have to protect. That's why. Where they get oil from? Where are they getting oil from? They don't have oil their own. Where are they getting oil from? How come they getting oil from the Arabs? Why are they getting oil when they say they don't need to be there? They're oppressing the Arabs. They're attacking Arab countries. Why? Why are they giving oil in? If without oil, they wouldn't be able to do it. Where are they getting the military? All the stuff they come from America. They get all from there and they get the military stuff from America, right? Because both of them working together to keep us right there from going anywhere. And then they got Farrakhan telling you you're not going anywhere to make sure you get to that point. You see, you put it all together. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Put it all together. That's what's going on. But now, that's why but we get energized. Especially when angel messages come on, then they got to pour more energy into it. So the rays got to put more into it, America put more, to keep the balance, to keep us. Because we don't, then we can still move forward. Move slower, but we still move forward. So you got to put more and more energy. And that's why now, who's the country that's jeopardizing that, that's not on board with that? Iran. Iran wants to take that out. Iran takes it out, boom. There's nothing to stop us. You see, that's the vectors. You can explain the whole thing in vectors. Iran wants to take that out. That's a vector. See? Yeah. Well, might as well go ahead and I'm spending time doing this right now, so might as well. Hold on. And I'm gonna close out because I inspected. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. Might as well put that in there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on. Let me see what I got here. I got something I can use. Yeah, I got something I can use right here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll leave it there. Leave it there. Hopefully it helps you, brothers and sisters. I want to talk vector talk because that's the really language you need to know. Then you understand what's going on in the world. It's all vectors. Okay, let's look at this. See, here's Iran up here, right? They set this up, right? And Iran wants to take that out. They can't have that happen because if they accept, then we move it, then it's not the opposition gone. You understand, brothers and sisters? Forget about that one. I already talked about that one already. Well, that's gone. Now we go. See? Bam. You see it? See how this comes together? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's why I got to take Iran out, because Iran takes it out. Then, you understand? That's why Iran got to take Iran out. That's what's really going on here. See? But Master Muhammad, Iran is going to take it out. And then we're going home. Because Iran takes it out, we come together, we're going home. See, you can explain it all in vector, simple vector language. And that's exactly what they say is going to happen in that simple vector language. So they did to us vectors. Let's put it like that. They put false vision to make sure we stay that way. Get no vision. Then they take our false vision out. We get angry and we go back home. Simple vector language, brothers and sisters. You don't want to study vectors, that's up to you. That's the language behind the angel. Okay. Let's move on to it. Okay, I'm going to bypass this. Go to the next level here. Enemy's attack, God can make out, okay. Go to this one. And it says, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been taken by violence, and violence seize it. Now, at the kingdom of heaven is someplace beyond sun, moon, and stars. This is not impossible. Unless you're saying this is some war going on that we can't know about. From the days of John the Baptist, Elijah Muhammad, until now, they haven't been destroyed yet. Let's bring you up to date. The heavens is taken by violence. The kingdom of heaven is taken by violence, or the heavens is taken by violence, and the violence sees it. So that tells you who the violent are. Gog and Magog, American Britain. See? That's what's going on right there, right? Now, let's look. You can read that at your own leisure. But what will I compare this generation? There's some of the Levites here. It's like little children sitting in the markets calling out to others, saying, we pipe for you and you did not dance. We sang and dirge and you did not will. Oh, it's, like it says in 7 church, I'm not going to do it. It says, F you in here. No, but you ain't doing anything. We called out you. We sang for you. You don't dance. We play music. Whatever. You're doing anything. What's your problem? It says this generation of the Levites. They're like children sitting in the markets, calling out to others, calling out, but they ain't doing anything. And their people's lives on the line, depending upon them. And they're supposed to be their kings. So they won't be kings long. We won't be kings at all. So that tells you right there that they would be said the violent, they'd be attacked. That's what's going on. And America puts up, oh man, they destabilize every place. They stabilize all the countries. They've been focused on the Middle East right now because that's, remember, okay, I should have put this out there. If you read the story about Jesus, right, when they put him in the thing, hold on. When they killed him, they put him in the tomb and they put a rock over so he couldn't get out. So why would you do that? Because remember, he didn't say anything. He was going to be resurrected. They didn't know that was supposed to happen. That supposed no. So they put a rock on. So what they're telling you is that they put our people in a tomb. Like, remember the story about and Mark? And the tomb, the rock over there, was false Israel. So he couldn't get out. And then the stone had to be moved before he could come out alive, resurrected. And Master Muhammad's going to move that stone. He's going to move that stone that's got you locked in that tomb. See? Because it said the man was howling and screaming in the tombs. Right? And then he saw the Son of Man, and then he ran to him. Right? But he was in the tombs, so how did he get out of the tombs? See? And then he ran to him. That's what's about to happen. Because that's false Israel was there to keep you from realizing who you are. Because once they're gone, that stones move, you're resurrected. That's why all those things happen at the same time. But what's holding this whole thing right now is two things holding it up. It's one, the Master Muhammad has to move that stone, right? And the other thing, why he has to move that stone, because he's trying to wait on these Levites to do something. And Jonah's about to get totally pissed off. I said, man, why are you wasting your time here? I've tried. Everybody's tried. That's the only thing's holding up. They don't know the right hand from the left. Everybody's saying, what you waiting for? The Levite, the Shishia. They say, Lord, how long before you take revenge? Everybody's saying, Jonah said, man, what you waiting for? Well, the Levites, they don't know the right hand from their left. Right? It means they still worship demons and carrying on. And they is. They can't recognize, that's another way of saying they can recognize Farrakhan. Because he's a demon, but they think he's one of them. That's another way of saying that. Because he said, remember, they all together, demons. He said, the demons and the saints are together. And so soon I had to separate them. That's only two things. So at what point does Master Muhammad say, heck, move on? I mean, they get to act together. Don't look like to me. And I'm not wasting more time with it. See? I'm not going to monitor or anything to it. I'm it's like Jonah, I'm offline now. So I'm treating him as Master Muhammad. Right? Because that's what's holding up. That's what's holding up. And then once that happens, then he moved the stone. Syria's already went down. That's already gone. That's the only thing holding him up now. It says, they're on the left hand from the right hand. They can't separate the demon from the saints. Okay? And then once he moved that stone, and then all of a sudden the resurrection takes place. False Israel, and that's about to happen. See? Okay? So, is Trump going to force his hand? Because they attack, Trump go ahead and attack false Israel, and it looks like, right? You got to read that very carefully. King of North, King of South. So the King of South would push at him. And say he'll come at, and that's what they pushing at him, but then say attack him, say push at him. So it looks like they're going to preemptive attack. But then you see one heaven, it sounds the same thing. It says Michael's angel with the war, and they fought back. So that Master Muhammad probably made right? He ain't waiting any longer. Because everybody's saying Iran may do a preemptive attack. Why are people saying these things? Exactly what I've been saying for years. Now everybody's saying it. So we know it's going to happen soon. So if you did carefully, it looks like they're going to make the first move, not the first move, because they retaliated to what, because remember, they saying there was what was a True Promise 3, that was the one that was supposed to get revenge on false Israel for attacking them last time. And they said, no, we still going to do that. Iran said, we still going to do that. So we wait on our time to do it. That was retaliation. And so now everything is right at that critical point. So he knows he's got a ball any second now. Right? Okay. And when it happens, everything falls like dominoes. Boop, 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 boop. Just so fast. Boop, 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 boop. Farrakhan down. Suleiman takes control of the Nation of Islam. people come together as a great army, right? Armageddon kicks off. All this stuff comes so fast. Falls Israel under siege, and that's Holocaust 2. No, Holocaust 2. Because what I said, what they've been doing right now is their own obituary. Because what they're doing right now is exactly what's going to happen to them. In spades. They're writing their own obituary. And America is too. Because all the stuff they're doing, as far as doing, America's helping them do, is going to happen right here. Right here. So they're talking about, and the thing is, see, that's what I'm saying. When they don't have understanding of how things work. So that means that their wisdom is destroyed. Because they don't realize they're going to be in Armageddon in a minute. They don't realize, well, how it's going to turn out. Because if they did, Trump would be making enemies of everybody. He's making enemies of everybody. But that's what Scripture said. Everybody's going to turn against him. Well, he's already making it happen. Everybody's hating America now, even the allies. He's already setting the stage. You see all this stuff coming together? You didn't see us a year ago. Everybody's against America. Because Trump I told you, he's the man that's going to call him to destruction. He's going to be the most hated man ever. But he think he's doing great. He got Europe turned against him. He got Japan turned against him. He got all his so-called allies. Canada turns against him. So when they go to war, he tells people going to say, okay, let's go help him out. No, man. They won't come against him too. All this stuff is in place. So America be asking, please help me. They be putting sanctions on America. We're not going to help it. Please. He going to be on his knees begging. Trump going to be on his knees begging before they put his out of his misery. But please help. Europe, come on. Europe going to turn against them. All right, come on, Europe, we friends. Come on, work on. No, man, F you. Canada, come on, man, F you. Come on, Green, F you. Panama, F you. France, F you. Mexico, F you. See how it's coming in place, brothers and sisters? And all this diversity you got in America right now? How many Mexicans here going to agree with their country? Yeah, man, that's wrong, man. They're going to turn on America. They ain't going to help. How many Canadians here? Oh, yeah, man, they're going to turn against America. This diversity they thought was so great, it's going to be one of the great worst things they ever did. That's going to cause total division in this country. Because everybody's here. The Africans, hey, everybody's here from someplace else. And when everybody's just against America, they're going to unite with their countries, mentally. So the French, they're going to fight on the French side. The Germans going to fight on the German side. The Russians going to fight on the Russian side. Canadians going to fight on the Canadian side. Mexico going to fight on the total chaos here. That says it's going to be a strange thing. You ain't never seen anything like this happen. Nation never went down like this nation's going to go down. They ain't going to be able to control. Remember, and so they're going to have the military. The military's not being able to control. They said the men's going to be so afraid they'll be hiding in the alleyways, holding their groins like a woman in labor. So America's not going. They're going to have control. Everybody's going to be against everybody. They're going to have any control. Their strong men are hiding. That the fear's going to be off the page. They're going to have to give it a new name because fear is not going to be good enough. They're going to have to call it a new name. They're going to be so off the page. They're going to lose total control. That means total, absolute fear. Total, absolute fear. Total. And then the people that supposed to be in control, like Trump and the senators and the preachers and all that kind of stuff, oh man, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to them? And we talking about days away, brothers and sisters. We ain't talking about years anymore. Days away. We're not even talking about months away. I'm surprised we got past through all march to the truth. I'm going to close out, brothers and sisters. Let me give you something here. I wasn't going to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Because they're getting that numerology, and I don't want to go in there because there's people that talk numerology, they don't know how they're talking about. But you might be able to put something in this, right? Because, see, you might take it strange. Right? But the number 7. Now, The birth of Suleiman, says the birth of son of man, he would be 21. That's three times 7. 1949. 7 times 7. That's interesting. All right. Okay. So his father passed 63. That's, I mean, it was 9 times 7. No, yeah, 9 times 7, right? 21st August. That's 21. 3 times 7, right? And so he found Elijah exactly 7 years later, 1970, 63, 97, 7 years, right? And he got his ex on the exact same day, August 21st, 1970. Exactly 7. So why does 7s keep popping up like that? Right. And then his ex was 21. 21X, 3 times 7. Why is he? Because he was aware of it at the time, because we was in New Jersey, his ex was 20X. So he knew, right, man, that's 7, that's something wrong with that. Then when he went to Chicago, because he was a 21st guy, he was 21X. I said, oh, I'm in the right place now. Got 20, that didn't make sense, right? And then Alexa was 1970, right? That's 10 times 7, right? And then I'll cut the chase because there's something a lot more, right? But next year she'll be 77 years old. Next year we'll be home. I'll leave it there. We'll be home next year. Be home next year. 27. He'd be 77 years old. He said Josh would be in his 70s. He's 77 years old. He'd be home with 77. There's more to it than that, but I'm going to leave it there. I just thought I'd share that. It's a lot more, but I thought I'd just put it out there. Anyway, I don't want anybody getting numerology or that kind of stuff, right? But you say, what? How do 7s keep popping up like that? Important days, always on the 7. And every time we move someplace like there, I would look at the address and some multiple of 7. I know we're in the right place. I can tell you, man, I can tell you a whole lot more about those 7s, right? See? Anyway, I'll leave it there. Okay, I think that's it, Ron. Since I'm leaving, yeah. Well, let's check this out. Yeah, let's do this. See here? Now, Christians and Jews been H0L0CUST for 2,000 years. 2,000 years. They blame the Jews for killing Jesus, because Jesus told them, according to the Bible, that they would not seed Abraham, right? And their father was the devil. It says in the angel that the synagogue of Satan, those claims that you, and so they said, and that's when they killed him after that, according to the Bible. So why would they help him? But why? And plus, these Jews say that Jesus in hell burned his own shit. That's in their scripture. I can't name the book. I can't think of the name of the book right now, right? But that's their holy book. And they say he's in shit, Jesus in hell burned his own shit. You gotta take my word for it. You can Google it, actually. Right? Same in H0L0CUST. 2,000 years. And they almost came to a head, what, in 1930s? They was going to get rid of him. And then what happened? Right after that, now they love buddy. How did that happen? Because they needed them to be that vector to stop us from understanding that we the true Abraham. And they know that. That's the dilemma. They know the only reason they're using them to keep us from realizing who we are, because once you realize who we are, that's trouble for them, because we're going to take revenge, we're going to destroy them. A new world's coming in. So they need them to keep us from realizing who we are, keep around circles or a direction. That's why I need them. But they know that. They know as long as they're useful for that, then America keeps supporting them. But once they no longer need them, they're going to come back at them again. Just like they were here, they're going to come right back at them again. They know that. And that's the dilemma. That's the dilemma. See, so it puts it all together, and I'm going to close. Okay, understand that. So that's the dilemma. So when you understand that, the thing is that they know the only reason why America's important, because America hates them. The Christians hate them, except the ones bought out like Hagen and all them. I told you, they really, they preachers, they agents. But they hate them. The Christians hate them. They was hating them, and like I said, it was about to destroy all of them until Elijah Muhammad said, well, they said, oh, we got to put the vector to stop that. They're the vector. There's a stone on the tomb door to keep us getting out, right? So they said, well, okay, and they know that the process. Remember, they know parts of society. They know the secrets, America's secrets. That's the whole that John Pollard thing. That's why they don't want to tell a story, because he was able to look at. He was in CIA, and they was able to look at the secret documents. They know what the plan is. So they know they're coming close to eradicating us. So the thing is, they know once they get rid of us, then they're gonna get rid of them, because they don't want them. They hate them, but they're like family members. They fight with each other until a new neighbor come in. The neighbor come in. Okay, now they fight. Let's get the neighbor. Then they go back and fight each other after they get rid of the nigger. You understand? That's the situation. So now, once they get rid of us, then they'll go back after them. So their problem is, we got to put ourselves in a position where they can't do that. How do we do that? We take control of the whole Middle East and take control of all of the Middle East. We got nuclear weapons, because remember, Kennedy tried to stop them from getting nuclear weapons. That's why he said they killed them. He didn't want them to have nuclear weapons because they want to get rid of them eventually. He was a Catholic. He wasn't down with Israel. False Israel. They knew it was false. So they didn't want to empower them by giving nuclear weapons. He tried to stop it. You understand? Oh, you can't see the whole thing here. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Hold on. So he tried to stop it. See? And they said they killed them for it. But the bottom line is that that's why they got this plan to take over the whole Middle East. So it's Israel. But the only thing stopping them is Iran. Again. That's the only thing stopping them is Iran. And one from Iran, they would took over Arabia, they would took over Turkey. I'm not Turkey, but they took over Arabia, they took over Jordan, they took all those countries. The only thing stopping them is Iran. You got that. That's the dilemma. But they can so they trying to get America to take out Iran. When they take out Iran, they can take out Arabia, they can take out Jordan, take out all those countries. And they have control of the Middle East. Now they got control of oil that's fueled this whole reality. And they got nuclear weapons. So now America can't do a goddamn thing to them. America's on their knees. We're gone. America can't take her out. And they can hurt America because America need that oil. You understand? That's the dilemma. That's what's really going on here. That's why forces are pushing to take out Iran, and America's been reluctant because they know that's the purpose. They want Iran to take out forces after they take us out. See? So that's the dilemma. That's America's dilemma. Well, we take out Iran, man. We need somebody to take out them once we take out these niggas. You understand? But forces, no, you got to take out Iran. Because they know if they take out Iran, they can take all the Middle East, and then they got control of all that oil. And then they got America by the, you know what? That's the dilemma. And America said, well, yeah, if we take out Iran, see, then they'll take over the Middle East. Now we got two problems. You understand? That's the dilemma. The dilemma, that's the dilemma they have. Because they hate each other. And for us, that's why, no, you got to take out Iran, take out Iran, take out Iran, take out Iran. Fast. Before you take out those niggas. Because you need us to keep the niggas from waking up. That's the dilemma. That's the timing. That's what's really going on. That's why false Israel's pushing to take out Iran, not America. They say, why can't Iran have nuclear weapons? Because they would take out. They said the only reason why they want Iran to have nuclear weapons because they would take out or neutralize false Israel. That's what they say. So it's because Israel ain't doing it. False Israel. And false Israel knew they need to take out Iran, right? Because I don't like to always take over the Middle East. America's that's the conflict going on there. And they try to work out, how can I do this? How can I handle this? And the same process, and the process still, and behind the scenes trying to take us out. So if they take us out fast before that means they got something going on here right now in the process of taking you out. And that gets into China. That's another story. It tells you right there. It says, throw them in the river. If you can't avoid them, throw them in the river. What's the river? The river meant to my China, India. That's the way trying to start the war over there. Get them in that war. 200 million men. We had to draft everybody, which they wouldn't have to couldn't touch you if you was in Nation of Islam, because Elijah Muhammad already made that thick. You was immune from drafting because of that Ali thing. But Farrakhan said, no, we'll fight. So now you're not immune. They can draft your ass, put you in there. 200 million man army, China. You'll be totally wiped out. And then they'll sue for peace. And then your problem is gone. And then they can back off, let Iran do its thing, get rid of false Israel. Problem solved. They got rid of us. They got rid of false Israel. They're at peace with the Arabs. That's what Trump wants. That's the way he really want it. It ain't going to happen that way. Master Muhammad's going to intervene. But that's what the dilemma, that's what's going on here. When you put it all together. Because they know to go against China, they have to draft everybody. And you be the first ones drafted. And your population, they draft all the men they don't have in prison, because the ones in prison, they can't populate, can you? You can't produce anything, can you? You can't produce any babies, can you? And so they put you in the military, so they eradicate 99% of the fertile males. That's the end of the population. That's better than abortion, ain't it? They said abort you first, if not, they'll throw you in the river. You have to understand the angel, understand this stuff. That's what's going on here. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. So you can take or leave it. Right? That's what happened. So maybe you be here, or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be lost, or maybe you won't. Maybe you wake up, maybe you won't. If you don't wake up, that's no skin off my back. Well, I'm not here to warn you. I'm here to give you information. You decide what you want to do with it. I ain't asking no fouls or anything. You decide what you want to do with it. Okay? But that's what's going on. And nobody explained to you. And it's clear. Because you answer all the questions. Why they mess with China? Why they made China so strong? Well, why they back false Israel? Why they bring people across the border? Because they get rid of you. They need people to take those positions until they get the robots in there. Because where you at? You in Popeyes? You in McDonald's? You know, all those different places. Devils ain't in there. And they want to keep the economy going. And who's placing those things? The people coming across the border. I said, well, Trump is trying to get rid of people across the border. Is he? Is he? You don't get it, but you're going to get it in a minute. But Master Muhammad's going to make his move. And that's going to save some of you if you deserve to be saved. I mean, you deserve to be saved. Do you want to be saved? That's the problem. Nobody's going to force you. You went to the Holocaust. You earned the right to go home. Now you want to come and claim your ticket? Like you hit the lottery, then you got the ticket, then you go claim it, or what? You got to claim it. You got to step up and qualify. You already got the basic qualification. Now you got to step up and say, okay, go home, get that, upload that angel bind. And the reward is great. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. But this has explained everything. When you see that, tell me somebody explain it better. Tell me what happened, anything. All those pieces come together like a perfect puzzle. All the pieces come together like a perfect puzzle, don't it? So if that ain't it, then you tell me what it is. If that's not what's happening, tell me what is happening. Because it answers questions, because you got a lot of questions. Why people come across the border? Who's causing that? The Democrats. Put them in there, black folks. And why are you supporting false Israel, no matter what? Why is false Israel pushing to take out Iran? That answer all those questions. Every one of them. Why they got this conflict with China? Perfect fit. I'm leave it there, brothers and sisters. Here it is right here. This Arabia. See that one tell is that it said when we go home. Now Jews claim they return. No, it says you return is between River of Egypt and Euphrates River, which is Arabia right here. That's their return to. That shows it's all bullshit because the reason why they ain't saying that because they're using Arabia to help, to give them energy to keep us from going home. So they don't want to let Arabia know that's the land, that's the objective, take Arabia. Because that's what it says, the promised land is Arabia. It's very clear. But the fact they ain't saying it, it's Palestine. Palestine is not it. That means they plan to take it, but they don't want to they don't alert Arabia what they're doing. That's a big tell right there. Okay, we'll close out here, brothers and sisters. Hold on a second. I'm gonna let this run out. Well, let me be quiet. Oops. One second here, brothers and sisters. A slight change here. Okay. Where we at here? Okay, here we go. I'm letting it run, boss. Assalamu alaikum.